what is going on. So today, I asked a question. I didn't really ask a question, I made a statement rather about MTA, right? Because I genuinely want to know what is the problem. Yes, as y'all can see, tonight's live, I'm outside because I need to vent. Not even really vent, but I don't want this energy in my house because it's confusing and I don't like confusing energy, so I'll bring it outside. You feel me? Yeah, so I made a statement about paying for the trains and the buses and things. Because at the end of the day, why? Why are we paying for these things? Why are we paying for things that are supposed to be pretty much given to us? It's pretty much our right to have, especially given all of the things that are asked for us as people in this world. We have so many different responsibilities and we have so many things to do. I feel like MTA has a great lack of consideration for its passengers because there's this new thing that they're doing where they putting spikes on the turnstiles out here in New York City. Now, business wise, I must say I completely understand. You feel me? Like I'm definitely one who considers all aspects, especially when it comes to business. I consider that you have to do what you have to do in order for you to keep your business running. However, when it comes to business, what is one of the number one rules? The customer is always right, right? How come that doesn't apply when it comes to MTA? Why is it that you expect for us to always pay to get to where we're going, especially if where we're going is somewhere that is imperative for our well-being? Because to live here is pretty much like is a responsibility within itself to even live here. Like, real, like, I mean, it's a responsibility anywhere. Don't get me wrong. You have your responsibilities. You're gonna have your hardships. You're gonna have these things. But when it comes to New York City, New Yorkers feel me. And if you don't, I'm sure you probably have heard about the stories here. Like, it's really unfathomable the things that they expect for us to do. I see a large fire over there. That must be a bonfire somebody set because the homeless is outside. That's another thing. I make sure that I come out. I have to do what I have to do for them because nobody else is going to. Well, other people will, but not many. Like only very few people care about the homeless. But before I get into that, MTA, did you realize that they put those spikes on the turnstiles to prevent people from hopping the train? People who are literally being told no when they ask if they could just go on a train to get to work or to go home or things of that nature. They don't even get the grace of being allowed a yes, from the workers at MTA. They don't even tell you yes or no, yeah, you can go on the train nowadays. Like now they just look at you like you stupid. You could be the most respectful person in the world and they will look at you like you stupid, give you an attitude. They get tired of the things that they deal with too, and I understand that. However, it just doesn't make any sense to me that y'all running around with so many attitudes and y'all see hundreds to thousands of people coming to use the public transportation every day and y'all don't even put up a fight for the passengers. Like it's crazy how you're trying to put up spikes to prevent people from hopping on trains because they got to pay these prices and inflations and things. But what about the spikes that's supposed to be on the top of the trains to avoid these kids, to prevent these kids from hurting themselves? What about that? That's nice for you. But at the end of the day, I hope that you didn't take it because I mean, kicking somebody while they down is crazy. Just because somebody is sitting there offering you their vibrations and frequencies doesn't mean that you had to take it. You feel me? You never had to take advantage of nobody at their lowest and darkest when there's really people out here that was willing to do it, that's in a better space and probably could have helped you get to a better space to feel like you didn't have to stoop so low in order to please yourself. So I don't know why you felt like coming up here and telling me that because that's not my business. But I hope you have a great day. Anyways, um, yeah, so as far as like the spikes on the turnstiles and stuff, why would you put that up there knowing that you need to put them on the top? There's kids out here subway surfing because they don't know no better. They don't have proper guidance. They don't have people telling them yes from no. And they need something, anything to help them prevent hurting themselves and things of that nature. Like, why are you so focused on people who are out here going to work and going home and doing things positive? Why are you trying to prevent them from going to where they have to go? There's people in these train stations, they sleeping in there, they smoking in there, all types of stuff. You go to the Bronx 3rd Ave, there's absolutely 100% chance, 110% chance that you're gonna go to that train station and you're gonna see somebody slumped over on the stairs. You're gonna see somebody. Yo, I walked out the train station on Third one time as a dude sleeping on a train, needle hanging out his arm. Like, but yet you're so focused on us paying these inflations, you're ignoring the real problem here. And I think that that's a big problem in New York City, period. And a lot of people really ignore that. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I don't understand why y'all don't feel the need to actually help the people that you're looking to go crazy to accommodate you for. But I don't understand that. MTA, New York City, I don't understand that. Then on top of that, now let's move forward to the homeless and why I'm seeing bonfires more and more and more. Honestly, I'm bringing people candles and stuff like that. Hey, you need to warm up, do what you got to do for real. You know? Yeah, it's crazy, Cavassier. If you got to warm up, do what you got to do. Now, unfortunately, today, as y'all can see, I ended up coming back with the bag because when I went over there to go make sure the people that are good, to make sure the people that are over there are good, they weren't there. And honestly, it made me happy to see that they weren't there because every time I go check on them, I pray, yo, I hope they find some shelter. I hope somebody helps them find some shelter or can convince them that they should go to the shelter. Especially, it's brick out here. I mean, it's brick out here. My hand is almost frozen right now holding this phone. But when I tell you, like, it's so many people out here with the lack of empathy, for them and lack of consideration. A lot of people out here just feel like just giving up. They don't want to keep going. They're tired. They're tired of paying these increased amounts of rent. They're tired of having to pay for MTA, knowing that MTA doesn't care about you and your well-being. People out here now are being set on fire on trains. This is something that we probably have not ever seen before, because I know I haven't. You know, and all of these things you have to experience on your way to work. You have to experience them on your way home. You have to pray that you're going to make it home. You have to pray that you're going to make it to work and things of that nature. And they don't care. All they're like, this is all they do. I understand your frustrations, but inflations, like out here right now in the city, a 1-bedroom apartment goes for $3,000. 1 bedroom. Over $3,000. One. And it could be a box. You could be in a studio apartment in New York City, $2,000, $1,500 a month. And then on top of that, now I could also understand why these people don't want to go to shelters and things, because once you do that, now if you end up with a program that actually assists you with the rent, let's talk about it. You go to these programs, you go and use these programs, and the moment that you start to care about yourself, it's kind of like this is the agenda. It's kind of like they're trying to program our mindsets this way. Like the more that you care about yourself, the less that you will receive. Like you can't even work a job on those programs for real, because they'll kick you right off. And now when you didn't have a plan and they know that, when you didn't have savings and they know that, when you don't have insurance and they know that, they literally still look for you to pay these $2,000 studio apartment rents. They still look for you to do these things. I'm actually a victim of it. Like I won't call myself a victim. I'm a survivor of it. I'm a survivor of it. Like it's not okay. And it puts so much strain on people's minds. It's ridiculous. And that's why a lot of New Yorkers are running around so angry. A lot of New Yorkers are running around so mad at the world. And people don't know why they walking around so angry at the world, because of it was more than just the congestion that we're dealing with now. It was congestion of humans. And still is. This is like one of the most overpopulated places, and it's not going to help the cause that there's more people coming. There's more people coming. and they're going to look for them to do the same things, or they're going to look for them to stir up something so that they can cause more hardships for us because it benefits them. And we're not going to keep on acting like this is not going on. At least I know I'm not. I have already started that petition. I definitely am going to do more in regards to the petition, and I appreciate everybody who signed up for the petition, especially you, Cavassier. I appreciate everybody who does it, because the fight is still going to go on. And of course, because of the living circumstances out here, I'm very much busy myself. I can't focus on one thing at once. I can't. I have to focus on everything simultaneously, because life out here is like everything has to keep going. Everything has to keep going. You have to consistently live on this Ferris wheel. Like, it's just crazy, And I just I pray for everyone's peace of mind out here for real. As I walk these streets, as I look at the people that are out here trying to survive, the people that are out here sleeping in the cold, the people who have nowhere to go, who have no help, who have no food, like, and nobody really cares. And then it's like, it's such a catch 22, because I will encourage people, hey, yeah, you should go to a shelter and find, some safe space. Find a safe haven. Don't stay out here in the cold. Don't do this. Don't starve to death. I could tell you not to starve to death. And at the end of the day, what they're serving in these shelters, forget about it. I'm going to end up posting those too. And, some more videos to come. But lately, I've just been going live opposed to me just recording videos and putting them up there. But now I'm about to start getting into that. We're at episode 7, thank God. We need to change it in a positive direction. Exactly, we do. We need to see it in a positive direction, because is really no way. There's no way that they could ever expect for people to be out here and, like, truly, genuinely just be happy. Like, out here in New York City, it's a lot going on, man. A lot going on. And every which way that you go, everything is a money grab, for real. Like, they tell you to pay for water, which I feel like is ungodly anywhere. We all paying for water. And then they'll tell you that the faucet water and everything is no good for you. However, that's exactly what a dentist will tell you mineralizes your teeth. So why is it that we're always being deterred from what's good for us? Why are we always being convinced that we should do what's the wrong thing? We should do the wrong things for ourselves. Why are we always being convinced to do what angers us and what's bad for our bodies? Because there's agendas, there's propagandas, there's things of that nature. And until people wake up and actually fight for themselves, it's only going to get worse. I promise you, it's only going to get worse, yo. It is. Nobody really thinks about it anymore because they're so accustomed to it. People have we've grown desensitized to the hardships that we're going through, and that is the worst feeling in the world that anyone could go through, because you start to lose a sense of reality sometimes when you're in that rabbit hole. Everything is just programming. You start to feel like a robot. And then it's really hard for you to actually empathize. Like I said, that's the agenda. It's hard for you to empathize for other people when you're so focused on all of the things that you have going on for yourself and all of the things that you have to tend to, trying to stay afloat, trying not to sink, trying not to be a failure, trying not to fall into the, whatever people call it, the norms, because everybody wants to be so elite. Like, at the end of the day, people are really losing touch of reality. And the craziest part about this to me is I'm somebody who stayed away from a lot of things for like a year just so I could center myself, just so I could make sure that I was right spiritually, just so I could make sure that I'm changing myself internally and externally. And just like the ways of living out here, like I said, the more you do for yourself and the more you love yourself and the more that you have to refrain from things to better yourself, and then you could go out there and pour when your cup is overflowing. Through that transition, there's going to be people that are angry at you for no reason. And that's the way that we have been programmed out here. There's going to be people who don't understand, well, why do you want to be? Because there's too much going on. And then on top of that, energy is a thing. And the fact that you can't make a move for yourself without somebody feeling like you need their permission to do so out here or whatever, like, that puts a strain and a dampener on things. But people don't realize it's us being caught up in these emotional spirals. It's us being caught up in, the fact that people have ignored that they might have grown a small sense of dependency. Like, it's, if they didn't have one before, they don't want to believe that. So they'd rather be angry at the world. They don't want to believe that you're doing something to better yourself because they feel everybody's out here doing something better for yourself. You need to be doing what I say that you need to be doing. No, we need to be coming together. And we need to be putting that energy towards the people that are trying to dampen our minds, to the people who are trying to deter us from our greatness. That's who needs that energy. And until I find that people are on the same accord, I don't be wanting to be mixed up in the I don't want to be in a mix. I don't want to be in groups of people who are not doing the work that we really need done, because when we're so caught up in everything else that we're doing and our minds are clouded, that's where your focus is. And then you tend to fall back and you lose sense of what you should be focused on. I had to realize that I kind of lost a passion for going out and performing for a little while because I needed to center myself, but it's also because like I felt like I was losing focus on the purpose. Like I make meaningful music, yes. However, it could have been more meaningful. It could have been better. It could have probably the way that I word things, my delivery, I could have definitely said something different. I have to think about these things, to make the changes. I don't need to be caught up in the energy that's going to keep that consistent. I have to go and put myself in positions and predicaments that are going to change my mind for the better, you know? And even though some things may seem like it's good out here, bro, everything is not all good. And I feel like the ways of living out here it's literally shaped people's minds into something that is just the furthest thing from reality and the truth. And I pray to God that my people wake up. I pray to God. I see people every now and again, especially now because I'm on the road that I'm on, even though there is a greater sense of people that personally we have distance. I feel like I'm growing more towards the people that I need to be around and the people that I want to be around because we're going to make those changes without the extras, without the BS, without we're focused on the mission within itself. And I think that is quite imperative. That right there is super important. Focus on the mission, focus on what it is that we're supposed to be doing as people, as a community together and apart, because it all plays a part in the change. Like I feel like a lot of things, especially out here, everything is a money grab. Everybody has all of these different responsibilities. So, it does discourage people when everybody can't come out and go to parties and events and game with them and do all of these different things because they have so much that they have to do. But then it's annoying to them in a sense. Now let's get back to the business part of it. I can understand why it's annoying to them and on a business sense opposed to the personal thing, because how are they supposed to keep afloat if you can't afford to come out and support them? How are they supposed to stay afloat if you can't afford to buy their music or buy their games or buy their merch and things of that nature? How are they supposed to stay afloat? These are the things that they have going on in their mind. So the moment that they feel like, oh, somebody's not doing that, and they have to deal with whatever personal turmoils and trials and tribulations that they have going on because personally everyone's going through it. So now the business being mixed within that is it's a lot out here. And I really sit back and I watch, I observe everyone else, including myself, and I'm seeing a lot of the problems out here for real. I'm seeing what the problem is. I'm not going to act like I have it all put together, like it's all pinpoint, like down pack, I have it all. No. But what I do see, I'm going to speak on it. What I do see, I am going to speak on it because it's crazy out here. Really. Like the people out here are so entitled to, especially where I am in the city, forget about it. A lot of people out here are very entitled and they turn their nose up at a homeless person as if that person is not going through it, just wishing that they had the ability to walk down the street with their head held high, knowing that they're going to be warm in a second just like you. That's all. But instead, people would rather have attitudes because their expectations of you're not meeting. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? I think that's crazy. So it's like, yeah, the things that are going on needs to be talked about or else it's going to continue. If you don't tell people what's wrong, they'll never know how to fix it. They'll never know what to fix, And at this point, it's just like somebody has to speak up because I'm scoping the scenery out and it's not okay. People need to definitely work on peace of mind and the love in their hearts. I was definitely somebody who had to take the time out to work on that for myself so that I could be able to give it to people. Because outside of that, man, I'm tired. I don't want to converse with nobody. I'm tired. I don't want to play. I'm tired. I don't want to watch TV. I'm tired. I don't want to party. I'm tired. Everything is tiring, And that can cause frustrations. And then now when even if you want to do it and you can't do it and the world doesn't care that you can't do it, it's like it's strenuous on your mind. And I think that the world needs more grace, bro. I feel like a lot of people out here need to give each other more grace for real because it's so much going on. And I really just had to look at that. I just saw, you know what made me think about the whole MTA situation? I saw a video of these subway surfing kids again. And my first thought was, God, I hope that they're okay by the end of that surf, because it's going on and it's more than it's ever been. Like it's horrible. They literally went from subway surfing on the phone to doing it in real life, and they don't care if they're killing themselves off. People are watching. Whole adults will see this and they don't care because they're tired. Everyone's so tired. You know, nobody can care because everyone's so tired. Everybody has to find out how to be the most robotic versions of themselves nowadays. That everyone's losing sense of reality. Everyone it has to try to compete with AI now too. So now they really don't have time to care about reality. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. You know, gotta find the balance in it. Gotta find the balance so that one doesn't dominate the other, bro. Gotta find a balance. Because of course, even with reality, we do need escapes. We do need something that keeps us going and makes us feel like, hey, this is something that we should be doing in order to release these emotions so we don't take it out into the world. So yes, sometimes the virtual world, meta and AI and all of that, it's great, especially for people who are starting their businesses and have things to do because of all of these different responsibilities. They need something that's going to help them move forward. They need something that's going to help them build their brands and their businesses. So now that's something else that you're still going to have to learn. That's another responsibility, and that can be strenuous on the mind. But if people had more grace, I feel like it would be a lot less bothersome to have to go through these transitions in life. I feel like if people didn't have so many expectations of one another, and if people came together and fought for what's right to help ease our minds and our lives and our circumstances, then it would be a lot easier for us to actually just do it without thinking twice, and actually just go out here and be like, yeah, yep, I'm going to get this bread for this rent today and nothing's going to stop me. Everything is so tiring for everyone lately that it's just like, ugh, it's aggravating, and I get it, y'all. And if that's you, I'm so sorry you're going through that. And I pray that you find an answer that relieves you of your stress and all of those responsibilities. I wish you the financial freedom that you deserve, especially for all of the hard work that you've been doing. I wish you peace of mind. I wish you more happiness. I wish you more love, and I wish you more grace in your life. I wish you more positive people that are going to help you get to where you're going, opposed to the people that have all of these outrageous expectations of you and don't even pour into you the way that they should be for them to be having these expectations of you. I pray for you, because a lot of people just need to hear that sometimes, even if it's from a stranger. They need to just hear that sometimes. Like today, it was so crazy. I made it my business to go out and make sure that I got some content outside, went over, chilled at the Empire State Building and all of that. And as I'm walking in the street, something stopped me. I promise you, I was just like stuck in limbo on which way I should cross the street for a second, right? So now I'm like, oh, okay, let me go this way. As I'm walking and getting ready to cross this large street, I see cars just coming on, and I see this little old guy with the freaking, I don't want to call him old, but he's older than me. I see this guy, amen. I see this guy with a cane, and he's walking across the street. And he's moving a little bit slow, and the car is just coming. I'm like, you know what? And this is always me, I promise you. Sometimes I just end up like directing traffic or stopping car crashes out of nowhere. You have to understand that alignment is a thing. When you're somewhere, it's really for a reason. So I say that to say, okay, I'm walking this guy, and I'm like, yo, you're good. Come on, I got you. And I'm walking him across the street. I always do that for the elderly. I was raised that way. And we get across the street, he just starts like pouring out his story to me, bro. And he's telling me about how he ended up in a situation, and he lost his wife, and it's been the hardest thing for him. Mind you, this guy tells me about how he had a business where he would like clean stores and stuff, like Circuit City, when that was a thing, like he was even cleaning Circus City. His business was booming and everything, right? And he told me his wife was like the best thing for him. She kept him, centered, gave him a peace of mind, helped him with his business and everything. So I could understand why losing her is like, oh my gosh, man. And as we're walking, I'm seeing things like he sees a car. He's like, I got her one of those cars. And then he's like, I got her a truck too. And I looked and I saw a fire truck. Now, it wasn't a pickup truck, but it was a truck. I'm like, okay. So now we keep on walking. And I'm like, okay, I'm with this guy for a reason, And I'm letting him get it all out. And as we continue to walk, I see another sign in front of us and it says psychic reading. Signs everywhere. I'm like, bro, all right, this is definitely a thing. Like, okay, all right, I'm definitely here for a reason. There was the signs. There's like 3 of them. Can't ignore that, right? And I'm just letting him get it all out. And by the end of it, like he's like, yo, you're so nice. And I'm like, being kind is how I am, it's how I was born. Then you may have been meant to talk to it. Yeah, he needed to get that out for real. He needed somebody to tell him. And I told him, you're not alone. I'm a walking testimony. Little did whatever you're going through, you're going to get through it. Especially with the shelter system. Like, you can't be there forever. You can't remain in the status quo, So you're going to end up having to move on and definitely bettering yourself. And for everything that you have done and everything that you have given to those businesses and everything, even though I know it feels like you should not be going through this right now, this is something that you probably needed. And me walking with you, I honestly feel like this is probably just a way of God and your wife showing you that you're not alone in life, And so I gave him some tips and advice on what he could do to better his situation in there, because there's a lot of tips that they don't give you, It's things that he wants to do. He wants to leave. He wants to go out of state. And if you're in a shelter, they're supposed to pay for that ticket, And a lot of them won't tell you that. He wants to go down to Florida with his family. And a lot of them won't tell you that. They will pay your ticket out of state because they want you to stay inside of their system. Because if you stay in their system long enough and you're renewed as a new client, then they get paid for that again. You're a money grab. Again. Money grabs everywhere. They will definitely they will withhold information in order for them to benefit from you. And I know it sucks because it's a shelter system and it's supposed to have your best interest, but it's not always the case. And so I had to make sure that I told him everything that I know. I had been bounced around from New York like 5 times. I had been bounced around all New York like 5 times, yo. Literally, from Manhattan to the Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn, everywhere, before anybody ever really cared enough to get me out of the system, help me at least, because I was doing it on my own. I was going on housing tours while I was in school on the phone. I wasn't playing. Then right after that, yo, can we hurry this up because I got to go to work? And then there was housing specialists that was in there giving our cribs away. We signing leases. We're signing leases. I signed a lease in Queens before I even got this apartment. Tell me where that apartment is. And it wasn't even an apartment. It was like a house. Like, it was nice. Where is it? We don't know. Well, we do. Because eventually we found out that he was taking our information and he was giving it to his people that was coming out of jail, whatever the case may be, the people that he was helping on the side that went through the same things that he went through before he got there. That's what they do, And I had to remind him that everything that shines is not golden. I know it sounds like it's good and everything. And yes, it is great that you're working on yourself. It is. It's crazy. It's great that you're working on yourself, but clearly is a reason why I'm with you. You need to do this, and you have to go to the director and tell them that you want to get moved and that you need the ticket. Don't let them tell you no. Because if they do, here's something else you can do. Call the Coalition for the Homeless. Call DSS. Call DSS. Call them. Tell them. Threaten them. Let them know that you're going to do it. I bet you that mood changed. I bet you that song changed. Because they know what they're supposed to be doing for you, but it's still solely up to you to make sure it gets done too out here, because like I said, everything is a money grab. They don't care. They will bounce you around and around and around, and you'll have to deal with all these different energies, and you're getting drained along the way, And he was very honest and open about his situation. He's telling me about, like his benefits and stuff. I said, hey, whoa, it's not my business. That's not my business. And I pray to God that you're not in there doing the same thing. Don't go in there telling those people your business and what you got and what you're doing and all of even the people that are working with you trying to help you. Some things you're going to have to keep to yourself, because if you give it all away, then what power will you have? None. And a lot of those people who work there, Even like myself at a point in time, they get the jobs through the shelter. Some of them are in the same predicament as you. So for them to hear that you're doing so much better than them and you're in there too, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to see you doing better than them and y'all in the same situation. It's messed up, but it is true. So, like he said he needed clothes and things of that nature. Now, we were very far away from my home, and I still have some things that I could give away, and I have some things that could fit men I would have gave him. However, he was so far away, and I told him like if he wanted to, he could get on the bus and da da da. But he wasn't trying to do all of that because he had to go back and do what he had to do. So I gave him all the teas I could. Go to bottomless closets or things like that. Tell them to give you a voucher and a referral where you could go and get some clothes, because a lot of people don't know that that's something that you could do. If you need storage, they pay for that as well. You take that letter, and if you are on HRA, which you will have to be in order for you to be there, you have to go and tell them that you need a voucher or a referral at HRA for your program. I mean, for your shelter, for your storage. They will help you. They will pay for your storage in New York City, at least. So don't think that this is the end all be all. Take whatever benefits that you can from the situation, apply that to your journey, and make sure you're utilizing them properly. Make sure that you're doing what you have to do for yourself to get yourself up out of there, because if you leave it in their hands completely solely, you will be bounced around and you will be like one of the forgotten. Real. And I know how much it sucks to have to depend on eating there too. The food is like dog food most times, depending on your facility. Only some facilities actually have like good catering. Some of them actually care enough to pay vendors to come and cater actual food, cook actual food. They have chefs. They don't just have food service. They don't just have, servers. They have actual chefs there, which is really dope. And you are lucky if you get into one of those. So I know how much it could just be so strenuous sometimes to just try to stay afloat. Just know that you're not alone. But by the end of my conversation with him, I came to find out that he was Rosie Perez's brother-in-law. Now I feel like I'm on a spiritual mission to go contact Rosie in the morning. Hey, your brother's out here going through it, sis. I don't know what you're going through, and I pray that you're still great. Okay. But I know as a man, of course, he's not going to want to reach out to you. But then again, there's another reason for why we're meeting. And I know how well I can kick open doors for myself and others. And shoot, I just may have to be hitting up Rosie tomorrow. Rosie, get this man. Because if you leave it to New York, they're going to just walk all over him. And he was telling me how he was already being bounced around at that very moment. That's why he was just so stressed out and was like, I need to go get a drink. You know where I can get a drink? I don't drink, bro. But I could walk with you over here where the stores are, and I could direct you to the stores. And I don't suggest that you drink. But, if that's what eases your mind right now, who am I to tell you what to do with your life? That's your money. It's your time. You do what you got to do, papa. But when you go back, don't let nobody take advantage of you, and know that your wife is with you, bro. Know that you did not just walk over here and meet me for no reason. I had clearly had something to tell you. So, like, that's my thing too. Like, when I'm out, I have the ultimate side quest. So people don't even be realizing, like, bro, I be drained because it's not just social media for me. I do be tapped into real life. I just don't always have my phone out, like I'm not going to record every single thing I go through. I'm not going to sit here and record this man's conversation. I'm not going to sit here and record all of the mishaps that happen in a day, because they're mishaps. I'm going through them, like I'm not going to record all of the experiences that I do have that take me away from, the BS, because I need to enjoy that peace of mind and sense of reality. So it's not for social media all the time, like you need to just find the balance in all of it. Give social media what you're going to give social media. Give your personal life what you're going to give your personal life. Give people what you're going to give people. Give family what you're going to give them. Find the balance in it all. And make sure that spiritually you stay up here, because no matter how hard it is, you don't even realize that you walk in the street, somebody needs you. Somebody needs you. And out here is not enough people saying that. Out here is not enough people fighting for the change, so that we don't always have to need each other, so we could go back to wanting to be around each other. Like, it's so different now. This is why the world is so distant and don't want to be around each other. They knew what they were doing when they distanced everybody. They knew what they were doing when they said, hey, yeah, go ahead and make your own businesses. That we need money. We need the money like you need the money. And yes, you could very well make the money. Hell yeah, you can make it. And make sure you hurry up and make it so you could give us some back though. Come on. We know this carousel. We know this carousel. So as long as we're out here, we have to make sure that we're looking out for each other for real, because these sheep are starting the oligarchy. The oligarchy is crazy. Okay, the sheeps are starting to believe they're wolves because the wolves are bowing down and being too calm because they know that a calm wolf is still a wolf. You know, the sheeps in their oligarchy is getting crazy, and it has people out here thinking that life is the end all be all. You know, like, it's just really sad to see people like with the mindsets that they have. Like, bro, you're not alone. Please, just everybody know that you're not alone. I had this thought when I was in the elevator earlier, and I'm like, bro, I wonder if people ever realize that the quotes that they go by when they're getting out of their dark times or those hardships, the quotes that they look forward to, or the words that they've heard other people say that they look forward to hearing so that it gets them out of those dark days and times. I hope they know that that's because somebody else is going through the same thing or went through the same thing as them. You're not alone. You're not alone. They had to go through that so they could pay that gem forward so that you could take that and you could pay it forward. But a lot of people are taking it and keeping it for self. I would tell you, like DJ Jazzy Jeff told us, die empty. Die empty. Give it all away. What are you keeping? What are you keeping it for? You don't know if you're going to be the next to go. God forbid. I could be sitting here right now and we could be chilling on YouTube. Yo, God forbid, if I move the wrong way, I could be in the water. Done. I can't swim. So I'm glad I'm getting this out right now. Like, I'll be out there, Jack, Rose, Jack, Rose. I can't swim. I'll be out there like a sinking Titanic, baby. Glad that I got this out though. Glad that I probably helped somebody else that's probably in a shelter like, hey, I don't even know what to do. I don't know whether I could go left or right. No, this is what you can do. I'll let you know right now. And ain't that crazy? Because we water signs. How we water signs and can't swim? But I always said that's because we crabs. We're not fish. We're crabs. Crabs, what do crabs do? Crabs don't swim. They be walking. They be walking or floating. We are the ones who can withstand the pressures of the world, and we can thrive on both surface and sea. So we can thrive through the storm, through the calm. Like, we are those creatures. That is us. That's our element. Like, we can get through it all. We're crabs. We're not meant to swim. We're meant to make sure that we could see the fish doing what the fish do. We could see the sharks doing what the sharks do. And just like somebody reminded me, we don't really have many predators. Crabs don't have many predators. Crabs are there to clean up shop. Crabs are there to show to others, hey, look at how I withstand pressure, and then I could go back to the top and go chill. It's when they come up, and it's so crazy how when you come up and when you rise up is when you're being preyed on. Don't let it go over our heads. Once you rise to your surface and you say, hey, let me go see the sun. Let me get up out the pressure. Let me go see the sun. That's when they're preyed on. In our element, we be chilling. And the crab's element is chilling. But when it want to come out and do something that it knows that it could do, and the rest of the world gets a hold of it, oh my God, look at that. Look at that little sea creature coming up here looking all tasty, looking all vibrant and colorful. Ooh, I want to eat it alive. That's us. That's us. Cancers and crabs. That's us. It's crazy to me. Well, that's the concept I've gotten. That's the perception of our reality that I've received. Like, it's crazy to me. And a lot of people don't realize how much we are connected to this world, how much we are very much alike when it comes to the animals, the creatures of the world. We have a lot of similarities. We do. And sometimes a lot of people don't realize, like, zodiacs and stuff. I understand why it's so overwhelming, because now it's more like people use it for matchmaking and things like that. But when you really think about zodiacs and horoscopes and things like that, think about the creature. Think about, like, the element. Think about you, and think about the correlation. It's not really about matchmaking because there's people who are together that are zodiac signs who said they'd never get along and they're doing just fine. They're thriving. What a lot of people also don't realize is you could be two compatible signs, but if you're not at your highest potential and your best self and your best energy, y'all could very well be the worst of things for each other, because you didn't take the time out to realize what it is that you're supposed to be doing, what it is, that keeps you going. You don't understand. They didn't have the understanding of their abilities and, what that element means, what they're supposed to be doing, how they could better themselves and other people too. You take from that element and you learn. That's why I always say, like, I'll think about being in the water. When I want to be my best self, I think about being in my element. The element that was given to me here, at least. You know, that element that's been given to my meat suit, it means a lot to me. When I see the moon, it means a lot to me because I know that I'm powered by it. And the crazy part is, without even thinking about it, it does power me. Without even thinking about it, water does empower me. When you go in that shower, it's empowering. When you drink water opposed to drinking toxins, it's empowering, especially for the water sign. It is. Like a lot of people don't realize how much we are really connected to this universe, especially with all of these man made things deterring us from that. Like, did y'all realize, like, people are really being offed for telling people what's right? People are really being offed for being geniuses, yo. It's not safe to be a genius. It's not. My family always called me a little baby MacGyver, yo. Always called me a baby MacGyver up until I finally knew what a MacGyver was. But they still do. I had never knew what they were talking about. I've never known what they were talking about when they called me MacGyver until I was old enough to understand who MacGyver was. And I love that for me because I know that my survival skills and my intellect will help so many people, man. It's gonna help so many people, and I'm grateful to have that perception and that concept of my reality because I used to just keep all of this to myself. I used to keep all of my thoughts to myself. I used to never want to be out there and telling the world what I'm thinking. I was also taught, like I said, if you give away everything that you know, you have no power. So some things I will continue to keep to myself. However, when it comes to something that can better other people, I have to throw it out there. I have to. I have to go back home empty. I have to go to bed empty. I have to make sure that every spiritual message that I got for us is I got it out there. Because I don't know who that's helping tonight, tomorrow, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I don't know. I just realized that the video that I did last night, even though they cut off part of my video, it definitely it reached like 100 and something views, and it was on private. And I said, how is that even okay? From when it was live, I guess. Okay, cool. So let me make sure that I put this back on public so that the rest of the world can see it. Even though it was only part of the video up there, it's still like 100 and something views. And I'm like, whoa, that's actually better than some things that I've posted regarding music and stuff like that. And you see what I mean? Got to focus on what it is you're supposed to be doing, how to better it, how is it a necessity, how it could, make it a necessity, make it something that's going to pour into people, make it something that we all need, because that's what people are going to gravitate to, what's real, because a lot of the world is not that anymore. It's not. I don't care what it look like, what it sound like. A lot of this stuff is not real. I'm in this space right now where I feel like the world is against me because I'm being my better self. Because I'm noticing things and I'm retracting and I'm not just jumping out the window like I would normally do, putting myself in tough situations or putting myself in a harmful place for me emotionally and spiritually, yo. I feel like I'm really like the world is almost against me. At this point, I'm watching so many different people like just do weird things and do funny things, and I'm realizing too that when you are in a space where you are shining that light, even that could be the most light filled person too, but once the person is in a dark space, man, once they're in that rabbit hole, once they're not at their highest frequency, y'all can kind of shift, and You don't let that discourage you. You keep on going. And if anything, you definitely keep on pouring out the positivity, because that person could pick that up and it could build their frequency back up to what they know and what you know, and y'all could very well keep on keeping on when y'all get back to the same levels. So I don't take it no way. It is what it is. I stopped taking things personally. Like, I realize that everything is for a reason. Sometimes things need to be on hold. Sometimes you're moving faster than what you're supposed to. Sometimes sometimes you're ahead of the game and don't even know it. Word. Honestly, before I go up, being that I see that bonfire over there, at least I know that there's people over there that are cold and could use this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this stuff over there and give it to them, and take the stuff out that I put in there for myself when I went to the store. And like, look, when I say baby MacGyver, y'all, it's so crazy because they're already on it. They got their own little bonfires going on, but my candles are empty. So I said, let me bring this because like sometimes I bring them cans of food and stuff too, and they may have some already, and you don't know, they could use that. Being that it's a candle, it can withstand heat. So throw whatever you want in there to keep the fire burning or whatever. Get that little metal pan or pot or whatever. Throw some water in that bad boy. Let it boil. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do and survive, Wolf. Survive. Don't let this take you out. You are a step away from your mansion. You're a step away from your house. You're a step away from your condominium. A step away from your apartment. You don't know. You don't know. This is character building. This is what's going to make sure that you don't ever go through this again. What is this that I keep on seeing here? Oh, they tagged it up. New Yorkers. They always tagging. Love graffiti. So, like, people don't understand. Like, bro, you have people that are thinking about you. God's gonna put the geniuses together to make sure that you could stay afloat. Like, without all of these buildings and all of these man-made things, this is what it was anyway. This is how we were living. And I can understand why they want to go back to their primal ways instead of falling into the hands of mankind. I get it. I get it. I do. Trust me. I get it. Because there was points in time, it's like, I don't care if I'm in the Shelly. I'm staying outside. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to deal with that energy. I don't want to deal with that dog food. No, none of that. Like I said, I'm going to end up posting it. It's going to be a part of the ascension anyway. The taboo story. I'm throwing up the pictures and the videos of things that we had to eat. The mayonnaise packets where the mayonnaise is coming out looking like yogurt. Yo, it was coming out looking like Jello, all types of weird stuff. It was outdated. They was giving us treats and cookies and stuff like a lot of other shelters wouldn't do, and the cookies was expired. They was giving us stuff that they knew was expired, and they would have shipments, right? Every now and again, some shelters, facilities, they'll get shipments of good stuff, snacks and good foods and all of that, and bottled waters instead of them, having us depend on other things and the things that we don't want to consume. And they take that home. They take it for themselves. They'll take it, they give it to their family. They take it, they sell it. They take it, and they give you the expired foods. They give you the things that they don't find to be imperative. It's so crazy now. The world is wild, yo. The world is wild. So I can understand why a lot of people are like, nah, man, I'm not going to no shelter. These people won't be dead. And da 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 da. I get it. Even working in a shelter, I had worked in a haunted shelter. I don't know if y'all believe in paranormal activity, but let me tell you, people died in there and it was haunted. I was in there and a sync came on by itself. I was on Instagram, on a face call, on a video call at the time that it happened. So y'all know I wasn't tweaking. My best friend at the time, she was like, I don't like you working there. Especially me being like high in my spirituality and I'm always, experiencing some kind of paranormal activities. I wasn't scared. It more so made me curious. So now I had to ask the people who had been working there for a while, like, did something happen in here? Because I'm hearing like stomping upstairs. Mind you, it's 5 floors in a building. I'm the only person in there. Okay, the only person in there. It's empty. It's renovated. All of the residents were put in hotels at the time. So I was just in a vacant building, me, myself, and I, with the spirits who had been murdered and in there confused. Okay, so I get why a lot of people don't want to be in there because there's stories on how they were murdered and why. One of them was a teacher, ended up in a Shelly, and ended up being murdered over an iPhone. Over a phone. He was cut to death. Another guy was in there. God bless their souls. Another guy that was in there. I don't know what happened, but Okay, he had a roommate who had a mental illness, and the guy, for whatever reason, I'm trigger warning, trigger warning. He literally had his throat slit, and his head was pretty much decapitated, hanging by a thread. Let me tell you, it gets crazier. The person who did it stayed in the room. The roommate stayed in the room, chilling. Security comes around and does their rounds and see the guy sitting there, laying there, done. And then the other one just chilling. And he notices that security's there. I guess he realizes what he's done now because somebody sees him, gets up, runs out, runs past them, makes it out. I believe he ended up getting found and arrested. But he ran out, skipped it, just skipped on him, dipped on him. Like, he didn't just do that, you know? And of course, that person's soul is probably not at rest because it's like, what did I just do to end up here? Is probably what he's saying in the spiritual realm. He probably looked back at his body like, bro, how? This is supposed to be a shelter. I'm not sheltered. Look at me now. God, you know, like, we have to understand there's still spirits in his meat suit now, all right? You get that transition going on and you're like, did I make it? I don't know. But I could imagine, God bless their souls. And I can understand why people do feel like they don't want to go to these shelters. But it's like, man, not all of them are like that, though. You know, not all of them. Yeah, it was crazy. And I'm in there hearing all types of banging. And then when the whole when the sink came on and I was on call, my service was acting up. It started, everything was just getting all staticky and pixelated. And my friends looking at me like, sis, get out of there. They're not here to bother me, bro. I think they're here because they know that I'm gonna sense this and I'm probably gonna look for some answers. It was a lot going on in that place. I'm gonna tell you, it was a lot. It was a lot. In that building, it was so many like weird experiences for me. It was one time they had like they get book donations, and even though, you know, the residents weren't there, they were still getting them. So I'd ask them, hey, can I take this book? And one time I took a book that I probably shouldn't have taken. This is my curious self. You know, I just be wanting to know things. And I took the book. Next thing you know, I'm leaving work one morning because I was doing overnights at the time. And there's this guy just walking, and he's like standing, and you can just see him just like spinning in circles, looking around, acting like he's lost. And he's really not lost, bro. I can tell he's not lost. One, I'm security. Two, I've always been observant. So that was kind of like my expertise in my field, you know? So it's like, okay, why is this guy just, you know, all of these people walking past you? You could very well ask for directions. He doesn't seem like he's out of his mind. He seems like a person who's working. I can tell just by his attire. And then I noticed, as I'm getting ready to go, he noticed, well, I didn't notice yet, but I'm guessing he noticed me, or probably knew that I worked there, or knew that I got that book, because I definitely did ask somebody who probably could have been a part of it. But anyway, because I had another job where somebody was actually a Mason. So, and we worked together overnights, and she was really cool or whatever, but it was just like, yeah. And at this point, it was like, oh my God, here I go again, encountering people that I probably should not be encountering. I don't know yet. And yeah, so like I go out there, I see him looking around lost, and he stops me out of all the people that are walking past, all the people that are at the chicken spot and crossing the street. You stop me, the person coming out of work trying to go home. And he asked me about how I feel about the security field. Well, that's a weird question for a stranger just out here just looking around lost, ain't it? And I'm like, it's pretty cool. Like, you looking to get into it? So of course I'm gonna ride the wave, you know? And he's like, you know, yeah, like I've done it before, but, you know, I was just curious as to how it is now. Because, you know, I see a lot of people over here doing security and da-da-da. And at that point in time, I was working on Lexington Avenue and 125th Street, which is literally, well, it was 126 in Lexington, right? And there's a bus that goes over there to 35, and it'll take you to Ward's Island to all the other shelters where a lot of crazy things happen, because that's where all of the murderers and pedophiles and all of that is over there, you know? And working over there was like, whoa. So I know why he's seeing them, but still, why stop me? So let's continue this conversation. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It has its moments and things like that or whatever. So, if you're looking to get into it, there's this company that you could get into. I'm giving him some references or whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I happened to notice that he had on a face mask that had the G on it. Y'all know the G with the triangle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I looked at him and I was like, you're a part of that? And he looked at me and was like, you know about that? Mind you, that book I took was all about that. And I said, not really, like I actually heard some things, but I'm not really too savvy on it, so is there anything you want to tell me about it? And he's like, well, if you really do want to know, there's a lodge, and if you want to, you could come and be a part of our chapter and blah blah blah. Blah. And I was like, really? I'm not sure that I should be doing something that I really don't have full knowledge of, so I'm gonna have to refrain and humbly deny that offer. I appreciate it, but yeah, no. I know, I've heard that y'all get money. That's probably as much as I know, and that's not enough for me to want to partake in that. So I'm gonna have to just humbly decline. And he's just like, oh, he was like, okay, no problem. If anything, my name is and then he slides me his number. Doesn't this seem pretty premeditated for somebody who was just standing there, just staring around, looking lost? And after I took that book that's all about it, right? So now I'm just like, all right, I took the number or whatever and was like, all right, no problem. If anything, if I change my mind, I'll reach out and I'll let you know. I never seen him again. However, for whatever reason, I probably should have left that book. Now, let me tell you about this book. I could have sworn that after my whole transition and everything into the shelter and leaving the shelter and everything, I thought I lost that book. I promise you, I swore I lost that book. I could not find that book at all. I could not find that book, y'all. When I tell you, next thing you know, I go to get my belongings out of the storage. I'm getting ready to move into my apartment. This is like literally a year and change later, y'all. I've been in my storage a million times, okay? Let me tell you why that book was in my storage. Whatever. Whatever. At this point, whatever. I don't know. My life's trippy all the time. So now I'm just like, what? Yeah, exactly. So, yes, I still have the book. Yes. I still have the book because at this point, I don't know what I should be doing with that book. I don't know. The book seems like it's giving Ouija board vibes at this point. Like, you know how you don't say goodbye to the game and you throw it away and it pops back up? Yeah, that's how I feel about the book. And mind you, it's just like everything seemed so calculated. From me getting the book to the guy standing outside to him acting all lost and you going from security to you just like, my question about your mask led to you offering me a position in your lodge. Like, how do you even know that I'm how do you know that I'm going to be beneficial to your lodge? Like, why would you even, isn't this supposed to be secretive until you found the proper candidate or something, or somebody actually comes to you and wants to be that or something? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have that much knowledge on it, but man, it was weird. And for that to have been a situation, and I had already worked overnights with someone else, with somebody who was one. And she would even try to like invite me to the lodge, but in a different demeanor, And I had to tell my ex at the time because she was just so happy about the offers because the offers were offering gifts. Talk about some bingo nights and stuff like that. I read some. I did. And then I stopped. I never finished it. Honestly, as I was reading it, I kind of felt like I was learning things I didn't need to know. And then a part of me was like, you know what? I do want to know this like I said I did. So eventually when my spirit brings me back to this, or something is going to happen that's going to correlate and it's going to bring me back to this, and it'll probably be a time where I will gain a better understanding as I'm reading it. But I didn't make it priority because it was so much going on. I had so many other things going on. And then on top of that, I really wanted to read Donald Passman's book, the music business, everything you need to know about the music business. And that was like more of my focus. But yeah, I still have that book, and I'll probably get around to reading it. But that book, it scares me. Like that book scares the shit out of me. I don't know what to do. I don't know. That was like one of the weirdest like that was one of the weirdest interactions I've ever had ever, because it was like that man was purposely there looking around. You had your number ready to give to me. Like, are you just recruiting people? But why did you wait for everyone else to go by, and why did you wait for me to leave my job to ask me these questions? Other people worked at my job that were coming in and out too. You could have asked them about security. Why'd you ask me, the person with the book that you weren't around for, and that you didn't know? So I pay attention to a lot. And I also know that I am somebody who I am someone who does yeah, I be spitting truths. So, and I get these downloads from the universe, and I be teaching people, and I talk with my eye a lot. So I know that I have been monitored a lot. Can't act like I don't know that. I do know that for a fact. I have receipts in my phone, especially from Instagram. Oh, they love monitoring me. They love monitoring me. They even send me signs to let me know, hey, we see you. Shut up. Like, and I'll be like, they need to know. I'm going to tell them. You can shadow ban me, but I'm going to tell them. And if you shadow ban that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a song and I'm going to throw some hints up in there. And the people who are looking with the eye will notice it while the others just bop along. And eventually they'll find the truth once I'm long gone or something, like they normally do. That's how it always happens with the artists and the messages. And it's always after they're already going, oh my God, they've been trying to tell us the whole time. Yeah, they have. Yeah, pretty much. Very, very, very. However, because like I said, it was so many like different paranormal activities and stuff going on, and then that book, I should have never took the book, because at that point it was just like, now it's adding up to me, like this is not a coincidence at all. That's why I had to like pretty much just watch his demeanor and everything. And like I said, this is my job, bro. Watching people and their body language and everything is my job. This is, as you should know, Mr. One to stop me and give me your number like everybody else was and walking the street and could have used it. I didn't need it. I don't want it. So, and then the book, I swear I left that book on Washington Avenue. I swear I left that book in the Bronx on Washington Avenue, y'all. I don't know how I got it back in that storage. I will never understand. Like, I was in there a million times. I know what's in my shit. I don't know. Maybe I could have overlooked it, but I'll consider that. But you know what? No. No, I'm not going to sit here and fool myself for nothing, So, and I'm also someone who has played with a Ouija board too. So I do expect for some paranormal activities to happen on top of me being spiritually in tune, So, yeah, because I didn't say goodbye to that game. And after I played that game, I ended up passing out on a 6 train. Thankfully, I was with someone, y'all. So, yeah, it was kind of weird. And then I had to like do some research on those things because, yeah, I didn't know what I was playing with at the time. I just knew what it did, and I knew I wanted to do that. So, and then it was so crazy because I thought that it wouldn't work, because you want to know why? It was a Toys R Us Ouija board. Huh, rest in peace, Toys R Us. They'll never understand. They don't know good things. Now, Toys R Us. Exactly. I'm going to share because, like, what... You could try whatever you want to, but then if you do it, all that's going to do... if you try to off me for telling the truth, or you try to off anybody for telling the truth, all it does is confirm that they were telling the truth. So now, I mean, you killing them is not doing nothing. It's out there. What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Change your program? Like, it's out there. And you got to watch these things, because, like, everybody out here, they have their agendas. These businesses, they have their agendas. A lot of them are working with one another. They got the money, they got the plans, So you got to watch all the time. I'm in a place where, like, that place is surveilled. There's cameras everywhere, y'all. There's cameras everywhere. So, of course, they're watching me 24/7. I don't know who's watching these cameras. I don't know what other businesses they're into. I don't know who watched me pick that book up or who was hoping that I would pick that book up and was happy that I did. I don't know. I just consider all of these things, and I know that it's something to consider because I wouldn't have thought it. That's it. That's what I be knowing, and that's how I be moving around in life. I just say I'm observant, man, because there's always an agenda on us. There's always a plan. While I'm sitting here chilling right now, like we already know, all of these different buildings and lights and stuff like that, they all have cameras and stuff that could track you everywhere you're going, from your route here to home and back. And I know that I speak a lot of truths, and they might just be watching. I pay a lot of attention. Like that guy been riding that bike back and forth for a little minute now. Maybe he's clearing his mind. I don't know. That's my third time seeing him. But thank God for glasses, you know? Thank God I got my glasses now. Like, I be paying attention to everything. Everything. And that was kind of creepy. It was. But yeah, that Ouija board situation was wild. Wild, yo. Played it, and I thought that it was a game. I thought, especially it being in Toys R Us, we played it in the store. And this dude, I was with him. We was playing a game. I'm asking the board questions in my head. It's answering, and I'm still, especially as an adult, I realized, I was tripping, and, and he was right. Like, I didn't ask the question out loud, so how could it be him answering the questions? I'm asking it my name. It's spelling out my name. First, middle, last is all I asked it. What's my name? It gave me my first name. What's my last name? Gave me my last name. But I didn't ask it out loud. It's my middle name in my head. These were all the questions. I'm looking at him every time it answers, and he's knowing what the questions are because it's answering them, and he knows my whole name. So now I'm looking like, bro, no way. No way, no way, no way. And yeah, it was very much real. And I was like, you know what? I'm off this. And then that was around the time the swivel boards came out. So now I want to go play on the swivel boards. This was the Toys R Us that was in Baychester and Bay Plaza, uptown in the Bronx, by my old school, by Truman. And I'm like playing around on the swivel board, bust my whole behind, y'all. When I tell you they probably replayed that video a million times in Toys R Us. Man, my behind was on fire, man. So I'm like, yep, it's time to leave Toys R Us. So now we leave and we get in on the 6 trains. Like I told you, I was over there by Bay Plaza. And while we're on the train, I just start feeling so lightheaded. Like, yo, what's going on? Like, oh my God. Like I needed something to eat. Like I was just, I don't know. Everything was starting to go dark. And I'm like, bro, why do I feel like this? And I tell y'all, I kid you not. I kid you not. I pass out on the train. When I woke back up, he's there like, yo, you good? You good? You okay? And there's people looking at me. And I'm like, bro, what the hell is going on? And he's like, you passed out. And I'm like, passed out? I never passed out in my life. What is going on? So when I tell y'all, from that moment, I passed out a few more times in life. I've never passed out in my life until that time. And there was just times where I would just hear like this long beeping in my ears. I kid y'all not. If anybody's on my Instagram and they know my homegirl Jada that was at the Terrell Blair concert with me, yo, it was a time where I passed out with her when we was in the store. We walked in, she's going to order her food. I got to the fridge, and then I went to go get something out of there. And the moment I got something out of there, beep, I'm like, bro, I can't see. Everything started going black. I couldn't see no more, and I passed out. Came back. I'm like, bro, what? And that happened to me a few more times in life. A few more times in life. Thankfully, it has not happened in some years now. But yeah, I don't know if that was because I ended up getting a spiritual cleanse on me too, but that was because somebody put brujeria on me, which I didn't know about until it happened to me. Like, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, they put brujeria on me. They was trying to control me and trying to find out what orishas walked with me. I never knew what none of that stuff meant. I never knew what none of it meant until it was happening to me. You know, like, I watched light bulbs go back and forth in my face, and I was looking at my best friend, the one that was on the phone at the time when the sink came on at work. And we both looked at the light, and I said, You see that? She was like, bro, a lot of paranormal activity was going on in her house, period, because, she also dabbled in brujeria, and she was the person who enlightened me on what was happening to me, what they did to me, why they kept bringing me different flowers of different colors and things of that nature. Like, I'm thinking it was just sweet gestures, even though the person was an a-hole. So I was always just, being naive and being in love. Oh, you guys do me because you love me and you're sorry. No, he's trying to figure out why everything he's trying is not breaking you down, girl. Y'all, I didn't know. I had no clue. So now here I am being attacked by spirits again. So that's why when things happen, like with the book and everything, like at this point, I'm just resistant to all of these things. And then on top of that, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I was the kid who was seeing things, and my family, my cousins will tell you to this day. Matter of fact, I had a spiritual situation with my cousin last night. Everything in my body told me to call my cousin. It had been like 1 something in the morning. It had to be 1 something in the morning. I called my cousin. She's literally crying when I called her, bawling, crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? Something told me to call you, and clearly it was right. What's wrong? I'm tapped in. I'm tapped all the way in. I'm trying to get closer to my higher frequency, but I'm tapped in. So when things happen, it don't bother me. I actually watch videos and stories, especially here on YouTube, about a lot of paranormal activities and fairies and fays and things of that nature, because I know that these things exist. I know that there is another reality out there. There's another realm out there that a lot of people are scared of, but there's no need to be afraid of it, because when we leave the meat suit, we're going to these places. We're going to see it for what it is. We're in these meat suits and we get the reality that we get because it makes us more comfortable with our reality. So I know that there's still, some things that we're going to have to learn, and we're going to have to see, and we're going to have to be confronted with that is not going to make too much sense. So in order for me to accept that and actually gain whatever knowledge I need to from those realms, I need to not be afraid. In order for me to get the guidance that I need from those realms to move forward in this one, I need to not be afraid. So I haven't been afraid, especially being that it would always happen to me as a kid. And I tell my mom, hey, this and that and the third. And she didn't believe me until she had to believe me. And then even with my mom, like, she's a firm believer now, because there was a time where she realized that I was really in tune, and she would call me over to pray over her house. So, because my mom's scared of spirits, even though she's spiritual and she believes in God and things, like, she does not want to play with the spirits. She don't want them around scaring her. She's scared. So if she's praying over her house and something crazy happens, because we have lost people that are dear to us, and of course, you're going to get those signs like she did. I told her one time I was smudging the house. I can feel my uncle at all times. I don't care what's going on in this world. I can feel when my uncle has arrived. We are locked in crazy. I catch his birthday all the time. When he has a message for me, I'm going to pay attention, okay? And he was heavily in that house. Like, his presence was heavy in the house. And he helped us move there into that apartment before he passed away. Literally the same year. Earlier that year, I believe we moved there in February. He passed away July 8th of that year, 05. And so, of course, his spirit definitely has no problem with coming over here, And I told her, your brother's here. And I didn't want to scare her. I didn't want to, of course I didn't want to scare my moms, but he's your brother. Don't be scared. It doesn't matter what realm he's in. That's your brother. You missed the meat suit, but it was his spirit that you loved. Know that it didn't leave you. And she just, Erica, stop, don't tell me that. Yeah, that's my name, y'all. Sorry, it is what it is. Well, sorry. Anyways, so, yeah, man, don't do that. And I'm like, bro, that's your brother. And I promise y'all, after smudging and everything, when I left, the next day, my mom is boo-hooing on Facebook, posting stuff, because she had a paranormal experience, and she was in the kitchen. She's cooking and cleaning or whatever. She hears a loud thump in her room. Something dropped. She goes inside of the room, and there was a box on top of her counter on her nightstand. It was the furthest thing from the edge of the counter that she said, So she says it's on the floor now. The phone that she had at the time was playing my uncle's favorite song. And she just had the look, and she started bawling crying, she said. And now she was on Facebook telling the world she. And I looked at that post, y'all. I will never forget it. She knew not to call me first. But when we talked about it, I told you he's here. You didn't want to leave. You didn't want to listen to me. You didn't want to believe me. He's here. So I don't know what it is that he has to tell you, but you need to not be afraid of this message. You need to take this message and apply it to whatever you're supposed to in life, because it's something he's seeing you're not seeing. Who better to tell you than your favorite brother? Huh? Who better to tell you than your protector? Don't be scared of him. He's protecting you. It's so many different energies running around here trying to off people, and he's a victim of murder. So he could better guide you and protect you from these different energies that he's seeing. He ain't come here to scare nobody. He came here to put you on, girl. Don't be scared. So I definitely am not afraid of the spiritual realm. Honestly speaking, I don't have any fears but God at this point in my life, especially. My thing is, if you want to speak fears, I would fear humans more than spirits. I do. I fear humans more than spirits. But we're all here for a reason. And I pray to God that everybody is tapped into their purpose and their energy, and y'all are paying it forward. Like I say all the time, man, we are here for a reason. Make sure you pay that light forward. You pay this knowledge and wisdom forward. The people really, really need it. And not even just us. The internet is forever. This will spiral even when we're gone. It will spiral when we're gone, just like every other video we know. Just like welcome to pop-up videos. All of this is still a thing. Like VH1, BT, all those videos that still play, Music Choice, and all of these things still play. All these videos that had came out 15 years ago on YouTube, videos that people probably forgot that they posted, that they found of themselves from years ago. All of this stuff is going to remain when we leave. So help the people to come even when you're gone. Make your stamp in the best way that you can. Make sure that you're helping people. Make sure that you help them fight those fears, wipe those tears, go out and kick them demons in their rears, and progress in prosperity through the years. So I love you all. Hello. It's been great talking to y'all outside. Talking to y'all has kept me warm. I appreciate you dearly. I'm going to go check on the people over there before I take my butt home. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Later, Cavassier. I will see y'all. You keep being great. And hello, Kelly girl. I'll see y'all.